Alright, hello everybody, and welcome into a little late night strat here on the RNGIDP channel. Welcome in, I'm Craig, and I thank you for joining us here tonight. This should be a fun one. This will be Boston against Houston, the Boston Soul Rocks against the Houston Cast Form. We'll get into the game here in just 1 minute, but before we do so, I just want to say thank you to all the new people that have come over to this channel. We've had lots of new subscriptions, lots of new comments, and I just want to take some time out and just say how much that I appreciate that. I mean, I've been playing this strat series for, I don't know, the last year, and been doing it on my own. I've streamed a couple games just to kind of test it out, but didn't really have the setup going, and I've been playing this on my own, and I've wondered if people would like it, or wondered if people would get what the whole setup is about, and I'm just thankful that those that are now joining the channel have such positive feedback, and really appreciate what I've put together here. I think it's pretty unique. I think it's pretty fun. It was a fun idea to start with, and even more so now that I'm actually playing it. So I just want to say thank you. Start by saying thank you to all the new folks that have joined on. I want to go through, and I've gotten comments from a bunch of people. I just want to say thank you to Anthony Cruz, MetFan1, the Statistician, or not the Statistician, the Stratistician. I like the pun there. Glenn Perot, Al Red Sox fan, Steve R0, or RO, I guess it is, Espo, Tenacious. I mean, all these guys have given me comments and likes and some good feedback over the last even week or two. So I just thank you guys all for doing that. So with that being said, we're here for some baseball. So let's get this thing started. So tonight it will be, as I said, the Boston Soul Rocks, who are 8-3 and sit in second place in the Alola League. They are going to travel to Houston tonight to take on the 5th place Houston Cast Form, who are 7-4, only a game back of Boston. The top of the Alola League is bunched up right now. Texas, Boston, Seattle, Oakland, Houston, Baltimore are all within a game. They're all either 8-3 or 7-4. So this one will go quite a ways to thinning out that pack and seeing who will take the place at the top of this week. This is game day 13. This is the third game that we'll be playing in game day 13. There's 7 games in each game day for each league, and so we're almost halfway there through game day 13. The pitcher for Houston will be Nathan Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi is pitching really well. He's the number 2 guy in their rotation, right behind Chris Sale. So they've got a pretty good, decent pitching staff, Houston does. And Eovaldi has worked 16 innings so far. He's got a 2-0 record, 15 hits in those 16 innings. Only 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, and 4 walks. That's a 1.13 ERA and a whip just over 1 at 1.19. So been quite effective, gotten a few strikeouts, and he will look to cool down the Boston Soul Rock lineup. Boston are by far number 1 in the league, having scored 83 runs so far in 11 games. Yeah, they're averaging about 8 runs a game. So Boston hitting the ball really well, and they will line up like this. Let me get to their stats while I take a look at the lineup. All right. They've got a full lineup, no injuries for Boston, and they will line up with Dexter Fowler, the switch-hitting center fielder, leading off. He is hitting .333, 2 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, 5 driven in. Jose Altuve, who spent part of the time injured this season so far, he is 15 of 38, which equates to a .395. Yeah, just hitting under 400, and he's not even the best average on the team. Hitting .395. 5 doubles, no triples yet. He does have 4 home runs for Altuve and 14 driven in for the team lead. David Wright wasn't supposed to be the everyday third baseman, but he's kind of transitioned into that spot. Luis Valbuena was supposed to be it, but he started off the season. He's only hitting .205 right now, and David Wright, in a few pinch hit appearances and 1 spot start, has been tearing up the ball. He's 11 of 18 so far in the season. with a double and 4 home runs in those 18 at-bats. And he's second to Altuve on Boston with 12 driven in and only 18 at-bats. Yeah, so he's hitting third and will be doing the third base work. Hitting cleanup will be Chris Davis. Chris Davis is the first baseman, and he is struggling. He is at 174. The one bat, other than Valbuena, I guess, the one bat still in the lineup that is struggling. You can't pull his card out of the lineup. He look at all those. He's got homers and black ink in those one columns, so there's a chance. He does strike out a lot, though. 18 strikeouts. He's only got 3 homers, 7 driven in to go with those. Joe Panic. Yeah, little Joe Panic is the DH. He's been hitting really well, and he leads, I believe he leads, yes, he still does lead the Alola League in batting average at 436, 17 of 39, 6 doubles, 3 triples, a homer, 8 runs driven in. Joe Panic just scores runs. That's all he does. Colby Rasmus is the left fielder hitting in 6th, another lefty. This is the 3rd lefty in a row here against the righty Eovaldi. Colby Rasmus is struggling, as I said before, and he is only hitting, Colby Rasmus is only hitting 209. And so he will be in left field. The problem is we don't have many other options behind him. We could put Aaron Alter in, but his card isn't all that great. So we're hoping Colby Rasmus will pull it together and get some hits. And following him will be Stephen Vogt, the left-handed catcher. He's 6 for 15 on the season. Boston is one of a few teams, I think there's 2 or 3, that has 3 catchers on their roster. So Stephen Vogt is doing platoon duty. He's 6 of 15, a couple doubles, a homer, and he's getting some at-bats here today. Paulo Orlando is the right fielder and hitting 8th. Paulo Orlando hitting 333, not bad. 4 doubles, 2 triples, no homers yet, but has 8 driven in. And Jordy Mercer rounds out the lineup. He's batting 9th and will be the shortstop. Jordy Mercer, 6 for 18 so far in the season. No extra base hits for him, and only 1 driven in. All right, I think we are ready to start this game off. Thank you again for all of you that are joining me here, all of you that have been watching live, and a lot of people have been watching it after the fact. I know these games are live streamed pretty late in the evening. That's why I say we're gonna play some hashtag late night strat. So I know that they're late, and I appreciate all of you guys watching it after the fact. All right, here we go. Dexter Fowler leads off against Nathan Eovaldi. We'll get the defense and the as it goes, and we'll get the lineup for Houston in the bottom half. So Dexter Fowler leads off. He is hitting from the left-hand side against the right-handed Nathan Eovaldi. And this is a 5-6, which is a single, leadoff single, right up the middle. And Dexter Fowler and his speed are aboard. Jose Altuve now. And while we're here, Dexter Fowler is an ace stealer. The catcher for Houston is Drew Butera today, and he's a -2 arm. So if we stat that out real quick, a ace stealer is a 1-15. With a -2 arm, it's a 1-13. Take another 2 away because they are holding him. So that's a 1-11 chance. He's not going to go. Altuve is hitting behind him, and he's got some wheels, so they're gonna force it here in the first inning. It's a 3-9. A 3-9 is a fly ball out to left field. Miguel Cabrera is under it, and not Miguel. That's not Miguel Cabrera. That's Melky Cabrera. And every single time I play with Houston, I just do the M.Cabrera on the score sheet just for ease of it. And every single time I think it's Miguel Cabrera. It's Melky. Melky plays for Houston here. And now with David Wright up, Dexter Fowler on first. 1 out here. They may try and steal. What was he? He was a 1-15. -2 is a 1-13. A 1-11. So Dexter Fowler getting itchy, taking a big lead, makes the jump, and it's a 13. So Drew Butera catches Dexter Fowler stealing here in the first, and probably shouldn't have gone there, but Dexter Fowler was feeling a little extra. He ate his Wheaties today. and was feeling a little good. Actually, David Wright, he was still at the plate. He didn't strike out or anything. So now there's 2 out and nobody on for David Wright, the hot-hitting David Wright. And it's a 3-4 and a 3-4. Well, it would have been a double play anyway. This one's hit straight back to the pitcher, and Eovaldi has an easy play at first, and that's the 3rd out. So after a leadoff single to start the game, nothing doing here for Boston. And if they're going to get to their average of 8 runs, they've got to start scoring. And all right, so the pitcher for Boston will take the mound, and today that is J. Happ. I still, every time I see it, want to say J.A. Happ, but it is J. Happ. He is 2-0 on the season, the young season, and let me pull up the rest of his numbers. 2-0 with a... He has pitched in 12 1/3 innings, 2-0, 17 hits in those 2 1/3. He's given up 5 earned runs, but he does have 17 strikeouts to only 1 walk. So J. Happ has been a machine when it comes to the strikeout to walk ratio. His ERA is sitting at 3.66, and his WHIP is a 1.5, 1.46. So he's given up about a walk or 1.5 walks or walks or hits per inning. So he's dealing with traffic, but he's striking people out to get out of it. And the lineup to face him for Houston will look a little something like this. Houston has Brett Gardner injured at he's the usual leadoff spot man, which kind of throws him for a funk because they don't have another rated center fielder. And so Carlos Beltran, who normally on a regular day is the cleanup man and the DH, he is filling in for the injured Brett Gardner, and he's going to play center field. The old man Carlos Beltran, the switch hitter, is going to lead off also and hit center field. I thought it was a little unconventional to put Beltran, who's not speedy at all, in the leadoff spot, but it's been working out, so we're going to leave him there. Xander Bogaerts sits behind him. He is the shortstop and will be hitting second. And let me get some stats for you real quick. Carlos Beltran's hitting 7 for 23 with a homer, 3 runs driven in. Xander Bogaerts hitting behind him. He is hitting 340 with 2 homers, 5 RBI. Melky Cabrera, not Miguel, Melky Cabrera, the switch hitting left fielder, is hitting third. And Melky Cabrera, bet he wishes he could hit like Miguel. He's only hitting 191 so far with a homer and 5 driven in. Chris Davis is the DH today. Chris Davis has been a pinch hitter for most of the season, but today he gets the start, and Chris Davis is hitting 5 for 23, only 1 homer and only 2 driven in so far. Stephen Drew is the left-handed second baseman, hitting 5th. Stephen Drew is hitting 209 with 2 homers, 5 driven in. Torrey Hunter is the right fielder. Torrey Hunter, 255, 5 doubles for Torrey Hunter, 2 homers, 9 driven in. 9 driven in is the team lead. Justin Turner is the third baseman, hitting 7th. Justin Turner at 375 right now. He's by far the leading average on the team. He's got 2 doubles, 2 homers, 5 driven in. Mark Reynolds hit a walk-off in their last game. And Houston, they beat... Who was it? Who did they beat last week? They beat Cleveland 8-7. It was a walk-off for Mark Reynolds and snapped the losing streak for Houston. They've won 1 in a row now. Drew Butera is the catcher today, as we saw as he threw out Dexter Fowler. He's hitting 1 for 11. Struggling at the plate. No homers, 1 RBI. He's replacing Rene Rivera, who's struggling from the plate himself. So Boston ready to roll. J. Happ on the mound. Boston coming into this game after losing to Los Angeles 6-4. So both LA and Houston looking to get back in the winning ways. Well, I guess Houston won last week, didn't they? So Houston looking to continue the momentum they had with the walk-off last game, and Boston looking to get back to winning. The Statistician checking in the live chat. Welcome. Appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you being a new sub, and welcome to the channel. Well, here we go. J. Happ to Carlos Beltran. Carlos Beltran is hitting right-handed against the left-handed Jay Happ today, and he strikes out. So Jay Happ, as we mentioned, with a high total of strikeouts on the season, 17. Well, that now makes 18. And Xander Bogaerts takes his chance now. It's a 2-7. A 2-7 is a grounder to shortstop. Mercer is there to pick it up. Toss it over to the first baseman, Chris Davis. And that is the second out. A quick start here for Jay Happ. And Melky Cabrera now. Melky Cabrera struggling at the dish. See if he can break out today against Jay Happ. This is a 1-6. A 1-6 is a fly ball out to the left fielder, Colby Rasmus, who makes a nice little running catch, but that will be the third out of the inning. And after one, just getting a feel out for each other, it's scoreless. We move to the top of the second. Boston, 8-3. They've been one of the impressive teams, just mashing the ball this year. And Chris Davis now against Nathan Eovaldi. And Chris Davis is a lefty, a 6-7. And there's another leadoff single. So consecutive innings. And a man is aboard to start the inning. Chris Davis is a station-to-station runner. He is a E-stealer, so he's not going anywhere. Joe Panik is a B hit-and-run man, but they're not going to take the chance of him missing and getting Chris Davis hung out to dry. And Joe Panik is hitting .436, so they're going to swing away here against the righty Eovaldi. It's a 6-8. A 6-8 is a grounder to the second baseman, Stephen Drew. He makes a diving stop. It's a 2x chance. Let's see if he can make a clean throw. A 2-3. Oh, he snags it, tosses it to short for one, and Bogaerts able to make the relay over to Reynolds, and that is a 4-6-3 double play. So a nice play for Stephen Drew, making a diving stop on the ball. Still had enough time to make the throw to short with the slow runner Chris Davis, and the relay was there. And now Colby Rasmus with the bases empty. This is a 6-5, and this is a fly ball to right field. Easy play for the right fielder Hunter, and he catches it, and that will retire the side. So we move to the bottom of the second. Boston has gotten men on to lead off to both of those innings, but can't do anything with it. A caught stealing and a double play, and that'll kill momentum. And now Chris Davis, the DH, will face off against Jay Happ. Oh, I bumped the camera. Sorry there. A 1-4. A 1-4. This one's a grounder back to Happ. He scoops it up and makes the play over to first. And that's the first out of the bottom of the second. Now Stephen Drew turned that double play quite nicely. He's up to bat. It's a 1-9. A 1-9, and this one is out to his opposite number, Altuve. Altuve scoops it, tosses it over to first, and that's the second out. So Jay Happ working quickly. Made quick work of the first five batters there for Houston. And now it will be Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter, a 4-7. 4-7. Well, Hunter gets a nice hit here. Let's see if it goes to the gap. And a 1-4. It's in the gap for a double, and it is. That's a 3. And Torrey Hunter able to poke that one in the right spot. And a 2-out double now. So Torrey Hunter aboard at second base for Justin Turner. 2 down here. Justin Turner with his red beard. And this is a 5-12. A 5-12, this is a grounder to second base. Jose Altuve is there. And we'll see if he can make the play. He is a 2-range second baseman. A 2-5. No problem. He scoops it, and he tosses it to Davis, and that will be the third out. So they strand Torrey Davis at second, or Torrey Hunter at second. Nothing doing here. We've got a close ball game. Kind of should have expected that with the way these teams are in the standings. Both of them pretty close to each other. Boston only separated by Seattle and Oakland. Oakland kind of a surprise team to be there. Houston, Oakland, and Seattle all have a 7-4 record. And Stephen Vogt is the man at bat. This is a 6-12. 6-12 is a grounder to second. So the second basemen are getting a workout here. Stephen Drew this time. We just looked at him, but I can't remember. Stephen Drew is a two-range shortstop, or a two-range second baseman, and that's going to be a good play to get Stephen Vogt. No leadoff single this time for Boston, and Paulo Orlando is now the man to the bat. This is a 5-8. A 5-8. Oh, there might be a hit. A 1-5. It's a double. An 8. A 6. So that is a single. Not a leadoff single, but they got a man aboard now. And Jordy Mercer will look to advance him, or even better. So Jordy Mercer, his first at-bat, the 9-hole hitter against Nathan Eovaldi. This is a 4-7. 4-7. He strikes out. The first strikeout of the day for Eovaldi, and the second of the inning. That's a big strikeout. Now there's two out going to the top of the order. And things got a little bit easier looking with only two outs there. Dexter Fowler, the leadoff man, singled and was caught stealing in the first, and he's batting left-handed. This is a 6-7. A 6-7 again for him, and he singles this one up the middle to center field. Orlando got a good jump on it, and we'll see if he's going to take third. He is a 1-15 runner. There's two down, so that'll be a 1-17. He was being held with the C steal rating, so it's a 1-16, and we'll check the center fielder's arm, which is Carlos Beltran. He's a 0. So 1-15, 1-17, 1-16. He's going to take it. He got a good jump, and it's a 20. So Beltran, the old man in center field, is able to throw out Paulo Orlando, trying to advance the extra base at third. And what a throw by Carlos Beltran. What a throw, and that ends the inning. So probably shouldn't have been running, taking that extra base with. Never want to make the third out at third base. Excuse me. And Paulo Orlando getting a good talking to in the dugout. The young player, the young right fielder, trusting his wheels more than his brain, and he gets thrown out by Carlos Beltran from center field. So that ends the inning, the top half of the third, and Jay Happ now pitches to Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds is a right-handed batter, the first baseman, and he's got a good eye there and able to draw a walk. So Reynolds is aboard for the part-time catcher Drew Butera. Butera is an A bunter. The rest of his card does not look all that great. Maybe we would bunt here. Nah, they're going to let him swing. It's a 3-10. A 3-10 is a strikeout. So Jay Happ started the game with a strikeout and takes all the way till the ninth batter to get his second. But that will be the first out of the bottom of the third. Here we go. Carlos Beltran back at the top of the order. Man on first. One out here in the bottom of the third. It's a 3-6. A 3-6. This one's back to Happ. Happ wheels, tosses it to Drew over, not Drew, that'll be Altuve, and over to right, and that will be, why did I say right? That is Chris Davis over there at first. But anyway, that's a 1-4-3 double play. Reynolds out at second, and Beltran, who made the nice play out in the field, gets caught at first with the double play. And that will end the third. So it's a close game here, close matchup, nothing doing on the scoreboard. Some good pitching. These are top of the order guys, top of the rotation guys. I guess we should expect that. Both of them come in with undefeated records, and they're proving why. Jose Altuve, though, against Nathan Eovaldi, and he draws a walk. And Boston has been super aggressive out there on the base paths, and it's hurt him twice. A stolen base, and Orlando got caught trying to advance. And Altuve is a double-A stealer. So a double-A is a 1-17. They're holding him, so it's a 1-15, and Butera is a -2 arm. So it'll be a 1-13 if he was going to go. But I think they're a little bit gun-shy right now. And David Wright up to bat. So it's a 2-8. A 2-8, well, maybe he should have gone. This one's out to the shortstop, and they're going to make a double play here. 6-4-3. So we hesitated because of the mistakes earlier, and it bites him, and David Wright grounds into a double play. Chris Davis now, 6-2. 6-2 is a grounder to second base. Drew picks it up and makes the play. So lots of ground balls here for Eovaldi, and he is working quickly now. And that is the end of the top of the fourth. We got a little pitcher's duel here. Jay Happ now against Xander Bogaerts. Grounded out to short his first time up. It's a 6-5, and this one is a solid hit to the gap, and that will be a double, a leadoff double for Bogaerts. Leadoff double. He's got some speed. He's a B stealer and a 1-14 runner. And Melky Cabrera now hits behind him. Jay Happ needs some of those strikeouts to get out of this one. It's a 5-4. A 5-4 is a catcher X. The catcher is Vogt. And Vogt, we haven't looked at him yet. He is a 3-range catcher. We'll get out our catcher's card. A 3-range catcher, 16. That one's going to get past Vogt for a pass ball. So Bogaerts moves over to third on the pass ball. And Melky Cabrera pops up to Vogt for the first out of the inning. So Chris Davis now with Melky Cabrera at third. Melky Cabrera is at, or not Melky, Xander Bogaerts is at third. Cabrera popped out to the short, to the catcher. And Chris Davis now. Chris Davis against the lefty. It's a 1-7, and a 1-7 is a walk. So it's kind of falling apart here for Jay Happ in the fourth. He's going to need some help from the defense to get out of this one. And Steven Drew now. Maybe he was being careful with Davis to get to the lefty, Drew. And here he is. The infield is back, hoping for that double play ball. It's a 1-3, and that one's to the first baseman. Davis is up with it over to Mercer, and Mercer back to Davis. That is a 3-6-3 double play. And just like that, just what the doctor ordered, Jay Happ able to work out of a jam. And Melky Cabrera can't score from third. Well, I guess good pitchers get big pitches when they need them. And Jay Happ got it right there. We move to the fifth. Scoreless here. Game day 13 in the AL. Boston Soul Rocks against Houston Castform. I'm Craig, and this is the RNGIDP channel. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at RNGIDP_strat. Post all the stats and all the info you'll need over there. and it's fun chatting with you on there too. So Joe Panic now grounded into a big double play his first time up in the second, and this is a 2-7. 2-7, not this time. He'll lead off the fifth with a single. So Joe Panic getting back into his hitting ways, hitting 436 before the game started, and Colby Rasmus behind him. It's a 4-5. A 4-5 is a grounder to short. Bogarts, the man out there, he is a 2-range short stop, and a 2-3. He's gonna make a diving stop, tosses it over to the second baseman Drew, but they're not going to be able to get Panic. I said the second baseman. I meant his only play is going to be at first. And so Rasmus will be aboard with a fielder's choice. No, wait, hold on. I think I read that wrong. It's a 4-5. Let's see. That was a 3. Shortstop. 2-3. Okay, so I was right the first time. They get Rasmus at first, and Panic is able to advance to second. Sorry about that. I read that wrong. So I got the white out here. Excuse the break and play. The ump had to get some more baseballs from the ball boy there. And so Panic is at second, advancing on the ground out from Rasmus, 6-3. And that's the first out of the inning. So Panic is second. And now Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt, the left-handed catcher. This is a 5-6. And look, Stephen Vogt grounds one up the middle, and that will score Panic from second. And now we have the first run of the ball game thanks to the part-time catcher, Stephen Vogt. So Stephen Vogt gets an RBI. Joe Panic scores from second. And we've got a ball game now. Somebody has scored. So Vogt is on first. Panic comes around to score. And there's one down here in the top of the fifth. This is a 4-7, and he strikes him out. Battles back, comes back, and strikes out Paulo Orlando. And that is the second strikeout for Evaldi. And Jordy Mercer now with a man aboard. And it's a 6-9. A 6-9 is going to be a fly ball to center field. No problem for Beltran out there. And that will be the end of the top side of the fifth. So we did get a score, though. Boston takes the lead 1-0. Houston looking to answer right back. Jay Happ was kind of on the ropes that last inning, but they weren't able to push one home. And Jay Happ will pitch to Torrey Hunter here in the bottom of the fifth. This is a 1-5. A 1-5 is a grounder to short. Mercer is able to make the play. And Houston, one down here now in the bottom of the fifth. Justin Turner grounded out to second. That seems to be the theme here in the in the second inning. And this is a 6-8. 6-8. Well, this time he walks, so he's aboard with one out. So Justin Turner's aboard for Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds walked his first time up. And this is a 1-8. 1-8. And that's one's back to Happ. Happ wheels, turns to second, tosses it, makes the relay over to first. And that will be a 1-4-3 double play to end the inning. So Happ, I guess as we were looking at the numbers before the start of the game, we kind of saw that this is the way he pitches. He works with men on base. His whip is about 1.5. But he strikes guys out, and it looks like he's getting some double plays here this time and getting out of some innings. So Eovaldi back to the top of the order. Fowler is 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles. And this is a 1-7. And this one could be a little more. A 1-9, and it's a double. It's a 10, and just hit it too hard. The center fielder, Beltran, who's been busy out there, able to catch it before it hits the ground. That's the first out. So they finally figured out a way to get Dexter Fowler. And now Jose Altuve's up. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. It's a 6-6, a 6-6. There's a slight chance at a single. Doesn't look very likely, and no, not this time. A grounder to third base that Justin Turner is able to handle and make the nice strong throw to get the speedy Altuve. And there's 2 down. So Eovaldi pitches to David Wright. It's a 2-11, a 2-11. This one's to the shortstop. Bogarts this time able to make the nice pick and the strong throw. And Eovaldi's through 6, only giving up 1 run. So he's given his team a chance to do something, and now they just got to wake up the bats. Boston not really known for being great at pitching so far. They've given up 52 runs, which is a fair amount, pretty decent. If you look at the league leader, Texas, they've given up only 26. The teams trailing Boston have given up 36. Oakland's at 51, so pretty similar to Boston. Houston's at 50. So, you know, there's a couple of teams that are better than them, but they're right there. J-Happ against the catcher Drew Butera. This is a 4-7, and there's a strikeout. Butera now caught looking at strikes twice. And that is that only this? That's the 3rd strikeout. 2 of them have been against Butera for J-Happ. So he likes seeing him out in the lineup. And now Carlos Beltran. Been busy out in the field. And this is a 1-10, a 1-10. It is a pop out to the shortstop. Jordy Mercer waiting forever for it. But he's able to make the grab. That's a 2nd out of the inning. Xander Bogaerts now. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, doubled his last time up. Made it all the way to 3rd on a pass ball, but couldn't come home. Then 3-7, that's a single. So Xander Bogaerts is on board again. And we'll see if he can do something this time. 2 down. Melky Cabrera, who's been struggling and not really helping here, 0 for 2. So let's take a look at Bogaerts. Bogaerts is a B stealer. Stephen Vogt is a 0 arm, so it would be a 1-10 to try and steal. And Bogaerts really wants to do it, but with 2 outs, he's going to hang close there. So it's a 4-6. This one's a fly ball to right field. Melky gets a hold of it a little bit, but it stays up long enough for Orlando to make the play. And that's the 3rd out. So nothing doing against J-Happ through 6. And the game we played last night, which was still game day 13, it was, who was that last night? Let me look. That was Chicago against Detroit. We had a great pitching matchup there, and if you haven't watched that one and want to go do it, I would suggest to do so. A nice pitcher had a good game in that one. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I won't say too much, but good pitching game that last game, and it looks like we have one here too. So Eovaldi to Chris Davis. It's a 5-8. 5-8. Oh, this one could be out toward the gap. It's a fly ball to center. A 1-3, and it's a double. And it looks like Beltran isn't able to sneak by and grab it before it gets to the wall. So Chris Davis is aboard with a double. Eovaldi, if you're wondering, his pitcher inning of weakness is the 5th inning. So we're past that. And he is susceptible to falling weak here. Joe Panic now with the man at second. and the bullpen is scrambling, looking to get ready. It's a 3-9. A 3-9 is going to be a pop-out up to the shortstop. He's able to make the play, and that is Xander Bogaerts. And that's just what Eovaldi needed there to get a quick out with no advancement from Davis. And Colby Rasmus is the man now. Colby Rasmus, 0 for 2. He's got a lot of pop on that card, but we just haven't seen it yet. This is a 3-4. A 3-4. This one's to the second baseman. Drew looks back Davis to second base. And Drew makes the throw with plenty of time over to first. And there's 2 down now. And it'll be up to Stephen Vogt, the man who drove in the only run so far. Stephen Vogt with a single back in the 5th. And here we go. Stephen Vogt with 2 down, a man on second. This is a 3-7, and that's a walk. So Eovaldi having a little flashback to the 5th inning. Didn't want to see that happen again, and he'd rather take his chances with Paulo Orlando. So the intentional walk to Stephen Vogt, and Paulo Orlando, the right-hander, who's got a hit today, 1 for 2 with a strikeout. He's 1-6 and a 1-6. This one's out to the third baseman. Turner's got it, tosses it to first for the easy play. And Eovaldi escapes any more trouble and is through the 7th, giving up only 1 run. So Jay Happ now. Jay Happ's only given up, 3 hits? 3 hits, 3 walks so far, and 3 strikeouts. So Jay Happ will pitch to Chris Davis. Chris Davis against the lefty Happ. That's a 2-6. There's a strikeout. And that's the first strikeout, or the first out of the 7th inning. That is the 4th one for Jay Happ. Stephen Drew now, the lefty. And let's take a look at the bench. Stephen Drew, he is 0 for 2 today, and we could pull him for Anthony Rendon or Kelby Tomlinson. And no, we're not. We're going to leave Stephen Drew in there. It's nice to have that left-handed bat to break up all the righties here. So Drew is going to hit here. And that's a 5-12, a 5-12. That's a grounder back to the second baseman. We know that is Jose Altuve. And Jose Altuve is a 2-ranged second baseman. A 2-18. That's going to be a good play. So Drew to Altuve. And there's 2 outs now in the bottom of the 7th. Torrey Hunter with a double and a grounder to short. And I lost my die there. This is a 2-3. This one's a grounder to the third baseman. The third baseman this time, David Wright, is able to make a nice play. And there is the 3rd out of the 7th. So Jay Happ dealing here. He's through 7. His pitcher inning of weakness is the 6th. So he has reached that and could be susceptible as well. So Eovaldi now to Mercer, Fowler, and Altuve. We'll see if he can make it that far. Mercer, it's a 4-7, excuse me, and that's a strikeout. Second one for Mercer today. Only the 3rd that Eovaldi has had. Now it'll be the 4th time through the lineup. Will Eovaldi be able to trick anybody else? Eovaldi to the switch hitter, Dexter Fowler. Dexter Fowler's 2 for 3. Finally got him out his last time up. This will be a 3-12. A 3-12, well, he's not fooling him this time. This one's hit really well. A 1-13, it'll be a home run. And it's a 3. That one is a solo shot. Solo shot for the left-handed hitting Dexter Fowler over the right field wall. And Dexter Fowler is having a really nice day from the plate. 2 for 3 now. And that might do it for Eovaldi. Maybe we left him in there a little too long. But Dexter Fowler gets the best of him. Let's take a look at our options in the bullpen for Houston. They don't want to get too far behind. Houston has Brandon Maurer, Quackenbush, Tazawa, Ross, McGee, Hardy, and Osuna. And also Roark is the long man. He's come in a couple of relief appearances. So let's take a look at the lineup. So it would be right, right, left, left. There's one out here. So they're going to go get... let's take a look at the numbers real quick. All right, so it will be Brandon Maurer. Brandon Maurer replaces Nathan Eovaldi, who comes off to some pretty big cheers, even though he's given up 2 runs. The home crowd appreciates the effort that he put forth today. Gave Houston a chance. Like I said, he kept it close, and the offense just hasn't backed him up. So Brandon Maurer will be aboard. Nathan Eovaldi, let's get his numbers real quick. 7 1/3 innings. Gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. 2 runs. Both of them earned. 3 strikeouts and walked only 2 batters. But now Nathan Eovaldi gives way to Brandon Maurer, who will pitch to Jose Altuve. Maurer has worked 8 2/3 innings. Pretty heavy workload for him so far. He's got 2 wins, though. 2 wins on the season for the reliever, Maurer. He's given up 10 hits in those 8 2/3 innings. Only 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. So he will have the heart of the lineup here. Altuve, Wright, and maybe Davis if they can make it that far. This is a 1-9. A 1-9 is a pop out to second base. Stephen Drew has had a busy day out in the field. And that's a second out for Boston. David Wright now against Brandon Maurer. That's a 2-6, and that one's a fly ball out to center field. No problem for Beltran. Beltran squeezes the glove and makes the 3rd out. So Maurer comes in and does his job, gets the first 2 batters he faces, and it's a 2-0 ball game. 2-0 here, moving to the bottom of the 8th. Jay Happ continuing the solid work that he's putting out. He makes his way to face Justin Turner. And Justin Turner with a 6-6 and a 6-6. A 10% chance here at a single. A 1-2. And that's a 2. And he's aboard with a leadoff single. That was that was unexpected. So Justin Turner's aboard for Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds showed off his flair for the dramatic last game with the walk-off. And here he is with Justin Turner aboard. It's a 5-8 and a 5-8. This one's a ground ball to second base. Second base is Altuve. Altuve, I know we've looked him up a few times, but I just want to double check. He's a 2 range second base, 220. And Mark Reynolds having a rough day. This is the second time he's grounded into a double play that just killed the offense. 4-6-3. Just rally killers there. And now Drew Butera. Drew Butera struck out twice today so far, and he's not going to get the chance to make it 3 times. they're going to go get him and pinch hit with Kelby Tomlinson. With 2 down here, they're looking for a little speed. And Kelby Tomlinson will be the man to try and get aboard. All right, so Kelby Tomlinson has 7 at-bats so far this season, 3 hits, so not bad, 2 strikeouts and a walk, no power numbers, no extra base hits. So he's looking to just get on base, extend the inning for Carlos Beltran leading off there. And this is a 2-4, and it's a single. So the manager pushes the right buttons, and Kelby Tomlinson is aboard. And now Carlos Beltran. So Jay Happ looking a little bit fatigued out there. Another hit or a walk, and he's at his inning of weakness, or his point of weakness, I should say. Jay Happ pitches to Beltran. It's a 1-5. That's a single to right field. No stars. Kelby Tomlinson got a nice jump. He's a 1-16 runner. 2 outs, so it'll make it 1-18. He was being held. He's a C stealer, so that was being held. So it's a 1-17. And the outfielder, the right fielder, is Paulo Orlando. He's a -2. So when we put that all together, 16 plus 2, it's 18, -1. That's a 17. And a -2 more, that's a 1-15. So Kelby Tomlinson, even though he's speedy, he's not going to advance to third. He saw what happened to Paulo Orlando, and he's going to pull the brakes. He's going to score from second anyway on a hit probably, and you know, his run is not the great one they need. So Xander Bogaerts now. And Jay Happ has reached his pitcher inning of weakness. So anything on his card with the dot, it'll be a single. So does he get a chance to pitch to Xander Bogaerts here? Let's take a look at the bullpen to see what our options are. So there's not many right-handed options. That's the Achilles heel in this randomized roster for Boston. They've got Bo Schultz and Chaz Rowe are the 2 right-handed options other than the closer, Jared Jeffress. They've got a couple of long relievers that are righties, but not anything great. So with Bogaerts, the switch hitter Cabrera, and Chris Davis, the right-hander, do they really want to put this in the hands of Chaz Rowe to try and bring it home? They're going to do it. Jay Happ, he's looking tired, and they're going to go get him. So it will be Chaz Rowe. Chaz Rowe has pitched pretty well, even though his card isn't really the greatest. He's pitched pretty well so far. And we'll see if he can get out of trouble and help Jay Happ here. So the righty, Chaz Rowe, we'll get the numbers here for Happ before we get Rose. So Happ went 7 2/3, gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. We don't know about the runs yet. 4 strikeouts and walked 1, 2, 3. Walked 3 batters. And Chaz Rowe comes in to face Bogaerts. There's 2 down here, so it could be Bogaerts. Cabrera we'll see, and Davis we'll see. Chaz Rowe on the season has worked 7 1/3 innings, has a save. I think it was a 3-inning save that Rowe threw. He's got 11 hits in those 7 1/3. Only 1 earned run, though. 5 strikeouts and a walk. So he's been pretty effective. He'll have to be. 2 down here, trying to get Jay Happ out of the inning. Bottom of the 8th, This is a 3-6. A 3-6, not going to do it that time. That's a single 2-star for Bogaerts, his third hit of the day. Beltran advances to third, and Tomlinson makes it easily home from second. So this is getting even closer now. It's a 2-1 ball game. Xander Bogaerts with an RBI, big RBI off the reliever Chaz Rowe. And it'll be up to Melky Cabrera, who's been struggling. Do they let him hit, or do they go to the bench? We got Rene Rivera, who's going to have to come in and catch. Mark Canha and Anthony Rendon. With Melky Cabrera being 0 for 3 today. They're going to go get Mark. No, he's the left fielder. Left fielder. Yep. They're going to get Mark Canha, or Kanya. I don't know how to say his name. But he's going to pinch hit, and he'll have to play left field. He's a righty. Mark Canha. In the 8th here. And here we go. 2 outs. Men at the corners for Mark Canha. It's a 2-11. A 2-11 is a single chance. He's a righty, so it'll be a 1-6 chance at a single. Let me roll it in the box, and it's a 9. Just missed it. So that'll be a line out to shortstop for the 3rd out. So Chaz Rowe gives up a run, but is able to stop the bleeding enough here in the 8th, only giving up 1. And it's now a 2-1 ball game. That run goes to Jay Happ. And the 8th inning is over here. So, Brandon Maurer is the man out there. Will he continue? No, he will not. They're going to go get the lefty. And that will be Jake McGee. You got 3 lefties. You got 3 left-handers. No, 4 left-handers up in a row. And Jake McGee will be the man to pitch to him. Brandon Maurer will get his stats here from the game. Brandon Maurer went 2/3 of an inning. Didn't give up any hits, no runs, no earned runs, no strikeouts, and no walks. He had a pretty effective outing after the home run from Fowler by Eovaldi. So McGee will deal with Chris Davis, Joe Panic, and Colby Rasmus. Chris Davis is 2 for 3 today. And here he is against the lefty McGee. It's a 2-6, and he strikes out. That's the first out of the inning and the first strikeout for McGee. Joe Panic now, the lefty. And he's 1 for 3 on the day. This is a 1-7. The 1-7 is a fly ball to the center fielder. Beltran able to make the snag. And now there's 2 quick down. And Colby Rasmus will be the do-up batter, but he's gonna go get pinch hit for Aaron Alther. Aaron Alther is gonna take over. So the right-hander Aaron Alther will be the pinch hitter. And he'll take over in left field. And one thing I didn't do is I didn't replace in the lineup Kelby Thompson. Well, it did happen, but I just didn't put the card in there. Rene Rivera came in for Kelby Thompson to catch. Kelby Thompson is not catching. He's not catching this inning. So let me make that change on paper now. Rene Rivera is catching. Okay, so we move on here. Aaron Arthur taking over for Rasmus, who is 0 for 3 and just continues to struggle. So McGee against the righty Arthur. And look at that. There's a double for the pinch hitter, Arthur. And a 2-out double. And both managers now with some slick managerial moves to get some pinch hitters. And they've gotten some hits. So it'll be Stephen Vogt, the lefty catcher. And he's 1 for 2 today with a walk. Now, he's not going to get the chance either. They're going to bring in Cameron Rupp. Cameron Rupp will pinch hit, and he will be the catcher. Like I said before, Boston is one of the few teams that are carrying 3 catchers on their squad. And Cameron Rupp is actually a pretty decent hitter. He's going to pinch hit, and he'll take over at catcher. So, man at second, Cameron Rupp now. The right-hander against the lefty, Jake McGee. And that's a 5-5, a 5-5, and that's a strikeout to end the threat. So Jake McGee gets the right-handed catcher. And that will be the end of the top of the ninth. We go to the bottom. It's a close ball game, 2-1. Chaz Rowe did his job. Doesn't look like he's coming back out. It will be the closer. And that is Jared Jeffress. Jeremy Jeffress, not Jared Jeffress. Jeremy Jeffress. So, Chaz Rowe. Chaz Rowe went a third of an inning. He did give up a hit. None of those runs were his, or the one run wasn't his. Didn't strike out anybody and didn't walk anybody. The closer now, Jeremy Jeffress, takes over. And we'll get you the numbers for Jeffress. For Boston, Jeremy Jeffress has 2 2/3 innings so far. Only 2 saves for him. Most of Boston's wins have been just complete destroyed games, and they haven't needed a closer. So Jeffress hasn't worked very much. And we'll see if he's sharp. He will face Davis, Drew, and Hunter in the bottom of the ninth here. So Jeremy Jeffress pitches to Chris Davis. It's a 6-10. 6-10 is a third base X chance. The third baseman is David Wright, who is not as good as he used to be at third. He's a third base 3. A 314, that's going to his error rating. He's an E17, and that's an 8. E17 and 8. He's able to make the play, so makes a diving stop. Gets up, tosses it over to first just in time to catch Chris Davis. And that's the first out. So, Stephen Drew now. Stephen Drew, 0 for 3. 3 groundouts. And he works to Stephen Drew. This is a 5-7. 5-7, and he strikes him out. First strikeout for Jeffress. And now there's 2 quick down. Nothing really doing here. Torrey Hunter, the man at bat. Torrey Hunter with a double in the second. Nothing since then. This is a 1-6, and he strikes out, and that will be the ball game. Jeremy Jeffress comes in, gets the bottom of the order, or gets the bottom half in order, and that will be the ball game. Jeremy Jeffress goes an inning, doesn't give up any hits or any runs, strikes out a couple, and doesn't walk anybody, and he will get the save. The third one on the year for him. But the story is Jay Happ. Jay Happ pitched a gem. 7 2/3 innings, only giving up 1 run, and struck out 4 and walked 3. So this one is a final. Boston able to continue their winning ways. Boston is now 9-3, and they await the result of Texas. They could be atop of the league after this game day. So let's get the final here. This is a 2-1 ball game. Jake McGee went an inning. Gave up 1 hit, no runs, 2 strikeouts, and no walks. Nathan Eovaldi takes the tough luck loss. He went 7 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs. That's it. 8 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Boston, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits, no errors. Houston tallied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spread out 7 hits and only 1 run for them. No errors. The winning pitcher, Jay Happ. He now moves his record, Jay Happ does, to 3-0. And his ERA will fall from what was 3.66. And Nathan Eovaldi, tough luck, but that's baseball. And his record now is 2-1. Jeremy Jeffress, that was his 3rd save on the season. And this one's a final. So I want to say thank you to all of you who joined me live here on the stream. I want to say thank you all to all of you who watched it there afterward on YouTube. Appreciate that. You guys have been great. I've gotten lots of support, and I just can't thank you guys enough for spending some time with me here. I'd love to see you here live. I'd love to see any comments you have for me after the fact. I appreciate all that, and I respond to them as quickly as possible. And if you have any questions about the league or the format or the structure, like Mr. Met did here for me earlier, he was asking about the parameters I followed for randomization. Feel free to leave those comments, and I'll do my best to explain those. I told Mr. Met one that I probably should do a full video on how I went about randomizing and creating the structure of my league. That's something I probably will do down the road. Maybe on one of my administrative days, in between game days, when I have to update all the probables and the injuries and all that. And most of those times after I do that, I'm kind of too tired and it gets a little bit late to do a game. So maybe I'll do a quick video or even a question and answer session. Maybe I'll do that. I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe I'll do that after the administrative day. That's what I like to call it. So here it is. Boston moves to 9-3. Houston drops to 7-5, and they will drop. Looks like another game, 2 games now back of the lead, and that's going to be a tough one to overcome. Still plenty of time though, I guess. And Houston has a good lineup. They just got to get those bats working again. And so that'll be doing it for me here tonight. I appreciate the statistician for showing up in the live chat and following along. I saw a few people here watching, and I appreciate you guys. And I just want to say thank you. You guys are the best. And I thank this community. It's real fun to be a part of, and I'm just enjoying my time doing this league. So that's it for me tonight. Have a good weekend. I'll see you here tomorrow, God willing, and have a good night.